Hello, my name is Brett Taylor. I'm a financial aid advisor here at Ryerson University. I'm here to help guide you through some of your most frequently asked questions in regards to OSAP and provide you with simple solutions to your questions. Here are the questions that we will be answering in this video. Feel free to click to the section that would apply to you. Keep in mind that when we refer to a full-time course load throughout the video, we mean that you are taking 3 or more billing units, which would equal a 60% course load, or for Access Center students, 2 billing units or more is considered full-time. Each billing unit is valued at 20%. So if you're in 5 billing units, it would be 100%, 4, 80%, 3, 60%, and so forth.
Do I need to resubmit my Schedule 2 form for the winter semester?
Students who are taking a 60% course load, which is 3 billing units or more, and are not receiving OSAP would want to resubmit their continuation of interest-free status form into our office. For some students, if they have already submitted their form for the fall, it may have already been processed for the fall and winter semester. However, if you haven't yet registered for the winter semester and you're just registering for the winter semester now, it is in your best interest to resubmit the form to ensure that your loan remains in interest-free status. For students who are registered at the Access Center, 2 billing units is all that's required to keep your loan in interest-free status. Also, if you're on a co-op term, you may want to check with your program coordinator to ensure that your name has been placed on the co-op list. And when you submit your continuation of interest-free status form to our office, simply write co-op on the top and we'll be sure to confirm your enrollment with your co-op department. To fill out the continuation of interest-free status form, you have 2 options. Option 1 is you can simply print off the continuation of interest-free status form off the OSAP website by clicking on Find a Form and then typing in continuation of interest-free status. Then select Go. You'll see the form appear at the bottom of the page. Click on it and the form will appear. You'll then hit Command P to then print off the document and submit it to our Dropbox. Or feel free to stop in at our office and pick up the continuation of interest-free status form and fill it out and submit it into the Dropbox. So some reasons why your continuation of interest-free status form may be denied is you have not yet registered into your course load for the winter semester. Your loans are no longer in good standing. If your loans are no longer in good standing, you may want to visit our office for further clarification on how to proceed to get your loans back into good standing. Your course load is not considered full-time, and lastly, you are not enrolled in a master's, undergraduate, PhD, or certificate program.
I've only been assessed for fall funding, and I've just registered for my winter classes. What should I do?
What you want to do is come in and let our office know that you have now enrolled for the winter semester. You can do that by filling out our information change form, as well as a financial information change form, and submitting it to our office. On the information change form in the winter section, you'll simply list how many billing units you're planning on taking for the winter semester. For the financial information change form, it is a complete update of your finances, going over your total income for 2013, as well as projected income during your study period. When you're looking to update your financial information, what you want to do is fill out one of our 3 forms we have here at our office. We have a fall-only financial information change form, a winter-only financial information change form, and a fall and winter financial information change form. You would want to select the form which applies to the study period that you're currently studying. So if you're studying from September to April, the fall and winter change form is the right form for you. When you're filling out the form, input the figures onto the form accordingly. Under employment income, you would report your employment income. If you're in receipt of government income, you would write in the amount of government income you're in receipt of, as well as indicating which type of government funding you're receiving. If you have withdrawn any RESPs for the current academic year, you would also input that information as well. If you have received any scholarships or awards, you would write them on the sheet accordingly, and then simply add up the totals on the right-hand side of the page. So as you can see, there are stars aligned along the right side of the page. Add up those stars and place it in the 2013 income box at the top of the page, as that shows how much income you have made for 2013. Any areas that you may have scratched out will also need to be initialed. Lastly, don't forget to sign and date and write your student number on the back of the page as well.
I am only taking 1 or 2 courses next semester, and I do not have a full-time course load. What should I do?
So if you're taking 1 or 2 courses next semester and you're looking for financial funding, you would want to apply for a part-time student loan. If you are an Access Center student and you are taking 2 courses, you do have the option to either apply for a part-time or a full-time student loan. When you're looking to apply for a part-time student loan, you would go to the OSAP website. Once you're on the OSAP website, you would then click on Apply. Once you click on Apply, it takes you to the page where you would then log in with your OAN number and password. Now that you're on the page where you can select a full-time or part-time student loan application, you would select the part-time student loan application and hit Next and click on Start a new application for the 2013-14 year. If you have worked for an employer in the 2013 year, you would be required to submit your most recent pay stub or T4 slip into our office with your part-time student loan application. If you have worked for multiple employers in the 2013 year, then you would hand in multiple T4 or pay stubs for each employer who you have worked for. If you have not worked in the 2013 year, you would need to write a letter to our office explaining how you're able to financially support yourself. If you're receiving financial assistance through a third party, you would also have to submit a letter from the third party indicating the financial support that they have given you and what they provide to you in the letter. Please ensure that both letters are signed and dated at the bottom as well. If you've been put on an academic probation in the past, you may have to provide a letter to our office indicating the reason why you dropped below the required course load percentage, the changes you're planning on making in your study habits, and how you plan to be successful going forward in the future, as well as any academic and career goals you may have. If the probation occurred at another university or college, please provide the transcript from the university or college that the probation occurred at. The academic probation letter would be required to be submitted with your full-time and part-time student loan applications. One of the most common mistakes that we find at our office when students are filling out the part-time student loan application is when you're listing dependents, we are not asking if you have any brothers or sisters, but actually asking if you have any children of your own. If you do have children of your own, by all means report them. However, if you don't have any children, where the dependent section comes up, simply enter in 0 if you do not have any children.
How do I qualify for the Ontario tuition grant? What are the requirements to be considered eligible? What if I have already applied for OSAP? When is the application deadline? When will I get my grant?
If you're looking to apply for the Ontario tuition grant, some of the requirements are that your parents' combined income is less than $160,000, you're a full-time student at a public college or university in Ontario, you've been out of high school for less than 4 years or less than 6 years if you are a student who's registered at the Access Center, you're in a program you can apply to directly from high school, you meet the citizenship and residency requirements. The application is open right now to apply to, and if you have already applied for OSAP, there's no need to fill it out again, as the Ontario tuition grant is automatically considered for you when you apply for an OSAP loan. The deadline to apply for the Ontario tuition grant is 60 days prior to your study period end date. You may want to make sure that your parents have filed their taxes for the 2012 tax year, as that is one of the requirements to confirm their income. If your parent works outside of Canada, proof of their income for the 2012 year is still required. They would have to show proof of their income by providing the equivalent to the notice of assessment in their given country, providing an affidavit showing how much money they made in the 2012 year, or by having a letter sent in by their employer saying how much money they made in the 2012 year. Please note that all foreign currency would need to be converted into Canadian dollars. So now that you've handed in all of your documents, you're probably wondering, when am I going to get my grant? Your grant will be sent to you once your parents' income is verified and that your enrollment has been confirmed as a full-time student here at Ryerson. Once both those items have been addressed, your grant will be released to you. It takes about 10 business days for the grant to be either directly deposited into your bank account, or it can take a bit longer if you have requested a check to be mailed to your house.
What kind of arrangement do I need to make in order to receive my funding abroad?
OSAP covers financial assistance for those students who are studying abroad. They do take into account your tuition fees, book fees, and basic needs for living expenses. What they don't cover is your flight costs, as well as any other visa expenses that you may occur when you're trying to apply for a visa at a certain country. So if you are having problems with OSAP while you are studying on your exchange program, you would want to contact Catherine McMillan at 416-979-5000, and her extension is 7577, or send her an email at catherine.mcmillan@ryerson.ca.
I forgot my OAN number and password. What should I do?
If you've forgotten your OAN number and password, not to worry. Simply visit the closest financial aid office to your home, and we'll be more than happy to reset your password. Even if you're a Ryerson student, you don't necessarily need to come to Ryerson's financial aid office. If there is a financial aid office closer to you that you could visit, feel free to visit them to have your password reset. What you'll need to provide in order to reset your password is your social insurance card and another piece of valid Canadian government-issued photo ID. The government photo ID that also be required is your driver's license, health card, passport, citizenship card, or your permanent resident card. Once those documents have been provided, we'll be able to retrieve your OAN number and reset your password for you. If you don't have your social insurance card, a document such as your notice of assessment from the Canada Revenue Agency can also be used as proof of your social insurance number.
If my OSAP funding is not enough, how do you submit an appeal?
Some students find once their OSAP application has been processed that the funding that they're receiving is not enough. Not to worry. We do have an appeals section on our Ryerson Financial Aid website. If you click on ryerson.ca, then you head over to Current Students, select the Student Financial Assistance tab, and then select OSAP Appeals. You can see a list of the most common appeals that are submitted to our office. Once you're filling out the forms, please ensure that the forms are filled out completely and all of the necessary supporting documentation is provided at the same time that you're submitting the appeals. The deadline to submit appeals is 40 days prior to your study period end date. Please ensure to have all documentation together when submitting appeals in order to have it processed in a timely fashion. Appeals can take. Some of the most common appeals that we receive are adjustments to local transportation costs, vehicle assessments, living cost allowance, income contribution levels, and asking for a review of your credit check. So once you have your appeals all in order, please feel free to submit it to our financial aid Dropbox, where we will begin to process your appeal.
I have just been placed on academic probation. What should I do?
So if you've been placed on academic probation with OSAP, what you'd be required to submit to our office is a letter. In the letter, you'd have to state the reason why you dropped below the required course load percentage, the changes you're planning on making in your study habits, and how you plan to be successful going forward in the future, as well as any academic and career goals you may have. If the probation occurred at another university or college, please provide the transcripts to the university or college that the probation occurred at. The academic probation letter would be required to be submitted with your full-time and part-time student loan applications. If you do find yourself in a similar situation where you end up dropping below the required course load percentage, you could be put on a 1-year restriction from OSAP, where you would not be able to receive OSAP for a year. When you're filling out the information change form, you would just write in your first name, your last name, your social insurance number, and your student number at the top of the page. Then where it says fall billing units and winter billing units, simply enter in the amount of billing units you're taking and sign and date the form on the bottom, drop it in the drop box. It's that easy. For the financial information change form, it is a complete update of your finances, going over your total income for 2013, as well as projected income during your study period. When you're looking to update your financial information, what you want to do is fill out one of our 3 forms we have here at our office. We have a fall-only financial information change form, a winter-only financial information change form, and a fall and winter financial information change form. You'd want to select the form which applies to the study period that you're currently studying. So if you're studying from September to April, the fall and winter change form is the right form for you. When you're filling out the form, simply input the figures onto the form accordingly. Under employment income, you would report your employment income. If you're in receipt of government income, you would write in the amount of government income you're in receipt of, as well as indicating which type of government funding you're receiving. If you have withdrawn any RESPs for the current academic year, you would also input that information as well. If you have received any scholarships or awards, you would write them on the sheet accordingly, and then simply add up the totals on the right-hand side of the page. So as you can see, there are stars aligned along the right side of the page. Simply add up those stars and place it in the 2013 income box at the top of the page, as that shows how much income you have made for 2013. Any areas that you may have scratched out will also need to be initialed. Lastly, don't forget to sign and date and write your student number on the back of the page as well.